3 different methods. We'll see which one gives us the crispiest chicken skin. That's what I'm going for, is that super crispy, almost like a delicious potato chip chicken skin. It's the stuff I dream of. Crispiest. That's a good word.
Very crunchy. Delicious.
That's like butter. Now I'll set off the smoke alarm. Oh, look, it matches my shirt. Try something new and have fun in your kitchen. Today it's kind of a yuck winter day here in North Alabama, and I want to have some fun in my kitchen. I want to try to make skin on chicken thighs with really crispy skin without deep frying, without having to flour and deep fry. So I'm going to try 3 different ways. And I wanted to try with not fancy machines and equipment, air fryers, instant pots, all the things, because I don't have those. So I've got 3 different ways I'm going to try cooking these chicken thighs to see which one gives me the crispiest skin. So everybody ought to have just a plain old sheet pan. I'm going to cover mine in foil just to keep cleanup easy. Then I've got a non-stick skillet, and I do have a lid for my non-stick skillet because I do want to cook it covered for a little bit to get them done. And then I have got my Dutch oven. So this is just cast iron covered in enamel. I've learned a lot about Dutch ovens lately. It's really interesting. You ought to Google and YouTube it. So I bought skin on, bone in chicken thighs. I've been listening to a cookbook lately on Audible. I actually also bought it, and I've been very inspired to start making broth, making my own broth. So I wanted to buy the bone in because I'm going to cut the bone out and I'm going to use that later to make some chicken broth. You know, we got Thanksgiving coming right around the corner, and there's nothing better for your cornbread dressing than some homemade chicken broth. I'm cutting the bone out so I can kind of spread the chicken thigh so it'll cook quicker, and then you'll also get that spread of skin that's going to give you a little more extra crispy, yummy skin. You could leave the bone in, but it's going to take a little longer to cook, and again, you're not maybe going to get as much of that yummy crispy skin that I'm going for. You don't need any fancy knives. Just a small little sharp knife is all you need. I am no expert at doing this. I've actually just started using these bone-in chicken thighs, so I'm new to cutting them out myself. So I may do a little bit of a hack job. I don't know. I get the bone out. That's the main purpose. I get it done. Let's talk about seasoning for our chicken thighs. Something that I've found that I really like: garlic powder, onion powder, and parsley. And I was inspired by a podcast I was listening to season the bottom part of the chicken thigh, and then on the skin, just do a little sea salt. So I'm gonna put my garlic powder, onion powder, and parsley, salt and pepper on the bottom part, kind of the exposed meat of the chicken thigh. And then I'm gonna, on the skin, I'm going to do a little bit of fresh cracked sea salt. For the sheet pan, I have turned my oven up to 425, so we're gonna do super high heat. I think it's gonna take about 30 minutes. We're just gonna put it skin side up on the sheet pan. I want the test here is to see if we get that really crispy skin just by cooking on that high heat in the oven. So I've got trying two on my sheet pan. I'm gonna get those in the oven now, again, 425. I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer for 30 minutes so I don't forget about these. Now we're gonna do the Dutch oven, and we're gonna go ahead and get the, what do you call it? Non-stick pan, Teflon pan going. So one thing I learned about the Dutch oven is you are not supposed to turn it on, let it get to much heat without anything being in there. Didn't know that. And I'm gonna spray it just a little bit. We're not gonna spray the Teflon because of course that's the non-stick, but I'm gonna spray my Dutch oven. Get a little bit of oil in there. You know, with the chicken thigh, it's gonna have plenty of its own fat. That's what's so yummy about a chicken thigh. I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 in here. So I'm putting them skin side up. What I'm gonna do in the Dutch oven is cook it flesh side down for about, well, I'm just gonna let it get a little brown, maybe about 5 minutes. Now I've got my non-stick pan heating up. I'm not gonna put any oil in there because it's non-stick. It's not gonna need any oil. Do the same thing in here. I'm going to let this brown on one side. Now the chicken in the Dutch oven and the Teflon pan have been cooking for about 5-ish minutes. I just looked and they're both a little brown, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn those. I'm gonna cook the ones in the Teflon pan with the lid on for about 20 minutes. Now they are skin side down. I'm gonna put my Dutch oven in the oven, now skin side down, covered for 20 minutes. I realized that the chicken in the non-stick pan on medium heat, I think that was gonna be a little bit too much. So I've turned that down to low, really low, because it's sizzling and cooking pretty fast. I've got about 5 minutes left on my timer. I'm just gonna look at my chicken in my pan. So at this point, it's steaming because I covered it. So that chicken skin is not getting crispy. Chicken's getting good and done though. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave that lid off. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Can cook a little bit of that liquid out and see if I can start getting that a little crispy. The only thing I'm afraid about, it's gonna make a big mess. Chicken on the sheet pan's looking really good, and I'm not gonna check. You know what I'm gonna do with the Dutch oven? I am gonna take the lid off because it's probably steaming just like my stuff on the pan is too. Look at what I remembered I had that I never use. A screen to put over a pan so your grease doesn't pop everywhere. That's a little too big for it, but it'll work. Got all kinds of stuff going off. Got my timer. Now I've set off the smoke alarm. So I've had to open up a door, a window, to try to get some of the smoke out of the house because the smoke alarm would not quit. So high heat cooking of anything with a significant amount of fat, beware. You could set off your smoke alarm. Or if you had a good hood vent, which I wish I had, you know, these vents on the under the microwave thing don't really tend to do much of anything, I don't think. If you have a true hood vent that pulls the air out and sends it outside, turn that on. These are looking really good. I'm gonna get my, where's my other mitt? I was using it to fan, hold on. Okay, now I found my other mitt. So I'm gonna get the chicken in the Dutch oven. And then chicken on the sheet pan. I'm already thinking the chicken on the sheet pan probably not gonna be as crispy. It's looking like the chicken in the nonstick pan might be my crispiest. All right, so let's see about, I know in the Dutch oven, the skin is gonna wanna stick just a little bit, but it's okay. You can kind of work with it and fry it up. Just try not to rip it all. Let me get a mitt. Lots of yummy juices and delicious bits down in that pan. It would be delicious to cook some veggies in. All right, let's get them up and get them on a plate. So we've got our chicken in our nonstick pan. Looks pretty crispy. So the chicken on the sheet pan didn't get as brown, but it's seeming pretty crispy. And then our chicken in our Dutch oven. So that's the chicken in the Dutch oven. Looks really similar to the chicken from the sheet pan. We'll see. Let's give it a try. All right, so now time to try which one is gonna be the crispiest. So, grab you a little beer. Because what's better with some crispy chicken skin than some beer? You got to enjoy yourself. Okay, so first let's try the skin from the chicken baked on the sheet pan. So again, it was a little, I wouldn't call that very crispy. It was a little bit not as brown. There's still some pretty good crunch factor there. Pretty good. Now the chicken, this was from the Dutch oven. Still not quite as crispy. A little crispier. Now this is the one I think that's going to be the crispiest. So this is from the Teflon pan. Oh yeah, it's more crispy. That's like butter. Let's try the chicken. I wouldn't imagine that the chicken is going to be too much different. So this is from the Teflon pan. Really juicy. Super flavorful from the garlic, onion powder, parsley, salt, pepper. Really good. Now for the Dutch oven. About the same. It all has the same flavoring. So it seems like the sheet pan one, it probably got a little drier. But it got a little crisp on the bottom. Which is kind of good. Wash it down with a beverage of your choice. I'm gonna have the ultimate test the man test. So I've roped in the husband to give his true opinion of which one is the best.
Okay. All right. So they all look good. Am I tasting the skin or the chicken or everything?
Just the skin.
Okay.
Just try the skin.
Okay. So the first one. Very crunchy. Delicious. Salty. Very good.
He's very descriptive.
Woo. Second one. Very good. Not as crunchy. And then the third. You know which ones these are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Okay. So that's about the same as the one I just had. So first, and these two are about the same.
So he picked the Teflon pan.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
The Teflon pan, number one, crunchiest. Chicken to me is all about the same.
Yeah, that one definitely had the crunchier skin. But they were all, I mean, you know, pretty much within the same bounds, just this one's just got a little extra crunch.
Good. Thank you.
You can hear it?
I can hear it. Thank you for being the taste tester.
You're welcome.
I would think most people have a non-stick pan in your kitchen equipment. Again, if you wanted to keep the bone in there, just adjust that cooking time. So probably just take more like 40 minutes rather than 30 minutes. This chicken is a great entree main dish that will wow your family, your friends, and you'll want to make it over and over again.